Hello, I'm Cara and this is a yin sequence and it's for helping with our gastrointestinal health. We all know that diet affects our mood, our well-being, not just physically but mentally, how we focus, emotionally, how we're feeling. And this time of year in late summer is a sort of transitional season where it's really important to focus a little bit more on the stomach, spleen, meridian, also the kidneys as well, to help kind of stimulate, balance the energy flowing there as we move out of summer, out of those nice raw foods and salads and into warmer foods, a little bit more heat, and a time to slow down. This is the season where we want to be doing more earth practices. So this yin flow that we're about to do will help to both stimulate into the digestive system, but also to slow down, draw inwards. So that combining the two together, yin practice, any yin practice is good for those things as well. But these poses are going to work into that stomach, spleen line. We are going to start nice, gentle with a wide leg child's pose. We're going to add a twist, so any sort of twist that we do will kind of massage into that digestive system. So we'll start with that. First of all, coming onto your knees with your big toes together, knees wide. The wider the knees, the bigger the stretch down to the kidney lines. That's up to you. You can take them wider than what I've got. If it's not comfortable for you to sit back onto the heels, you might have a little cushion or blanket that you can pad underneath for a little bit more support. As you come forwards, just use your hands to support you to begin with. And we're going to take a twist with your right arm threading through, like you would with thread the needle, right shoulder to the floor, head down to the floor, resting here. If your neck isn't feeling comfortable, again, if you have a little cushion or blanket, I'm going to bring my blanket here. You can bring your blanket to shoulder on the floor and just support, blanket supporting my head here. Arms relaxing. Once you're in the pose with our yin practice, we want to remain still, so you don't have to be right in your end range, just somewhere where you can feel the sensation happening. You can relax into it. Just going to stay here for a little while. The more you let go, the deeper you move down towards the earth. Always nice to start with a pose where heart space is facing the earth. We're quite low, quite a lot of body surface on the mat, so allowing us to feel that support. These forward folds gently stimulate into the stomach, get a little compression there into the stomach. This position of arms also working into heart and lungs, which lungs can get a little tight sometimes when we have these shifting seasons, especially moving into the cooler seasons, to help prevent illness by opening up that lung energy as well. Okay, so gently Coming up, not all the way, just enough to switch sides. Your right hand coming to the floor and your left arm threading through. So left shoulder to the floor, head either onto the floor or onto some support. And once you've made your adjustments, returning to that nice relaxed state, you can close your eyes. Try and keep your mind on your body, so either on the sensation you're feeling in your belly or your breath. You had a lot of stress and anxiety caused by bad eating habits. Eating too many sugary things can affect your mood. Run out of steam, or too much caffeine create too much stimulation, too much anxiety. So this yin practice is all about slowing down, taking time to balance. So you could stay here for a little longer if you like. It's quite a nice resting pose, but we're going to move on. So using your right hand to lift you back up to centre and starting to move forwards onto your tummy. We'll begin in Sphinx pose with the option to move to seal in a moment. So if it's comfortable for your back, you can take your feet a bit wider towards the edge of your mat and let the legs relax, buttocks relax. Sometimes we have a tendency to squeeze the buttocks as soon as we get into this pose. So try and relax your buttocks and forearms to the floor. So if it feels, we are going to be working into back here, so you feel the sensation around the lower back. If that's too strong for you, you can bring the arms a bit further forwards, or if you've got a little cushion or blanket, you can bring that under your tummy, or bolster. And always, if you want extra support, you've got bolster, you can bring that under your belly as well. Depending how the shoulders are feeling, we will take the option of more fanning out of the forearms, broaden across the collarbones. But if that's sort of feeling a bit uncomfortable in your shoulders, that you're having to work really hard to kind of hold that position, and keep the arms in neutral, maybe even taking the elbows out to the side. That feels like it gives you a bit more space there in that top line. So again, it's finding where you want sensation, but you don't want to feel like you're having to use loads of effort to hold yourself in the pose. Obviously, there's a little bit of effort in the arms to hold yourself up into this Sphinx position. So for those of you that want to go a little bit deeper and come up into seal, so you're straightening the arms, still try and keep space between shoulders and your ears. You feel much stronger sensation. This is again where some of you might want some support of the blanket or bolster if you want to take this higher position, but it feels just a little bit too strong. Relax the buttocks, relax the legs. You can gaze just straight ahead or maybe down towards the floor if there's things in your room that are distracting you. So try and keep the eyes fixed onto a still point. So you can use that drishti to quieten your mind. But we're doing this pose to stretch through the stomach. So having stimulated in our last child's pose those little compressions, it's just opening up that line now, allowing that healthy energy to flow through your body. We'll probably, should have said at the beginning, not good idea to do this practice immediately after eating. Obviously you don't want to be hungry with your tummy rumbling through your practice, but not immediately after eating. Good to do before you eat, so you get this digestive system working effectively, more efficiently. So if you have taken this seal option, just lower the elbows, coming back down into Sphinx. Good. Might want to take the opportunity here to move your head side to side, making sure neck is comfortable, maybe some little circles. Really hoping that we won't take in strain in neck and shoulders, but just in case. Bringing the hands together, take the elbows out, just resting the head onto the hands, and give your pelvis a little shake side to side, sending some of that energy from the lower back up through the rest of the spine. Seal pose will be nice for toning the spine, giving you that extra support, so we feel a little bit more supported within ourselves and make better choices. Hands under the shoulders, coming up onto hands and knees. We'll take a few rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, tailbone, chestbone up towards the sky, stretching the tummy down towards the floor. Exhale, rounding the back, pull belly in towards the spine, push the floor away, around the back up towards the sky. And again, inhale, cow pose, you put a little bend in the arms, retract the shoulders and open up the chest, eyes to sky, tailbone to sky, and exhale into cat pose, pushing the floor away with your shins, your hands, tucking the chin into chest. And one more time, inhale for cow pose, and exhale for cat. And back to the kneeling position. So this next one is possibly quite tricky for some people, so be mindful here. I'll give lots of options. So we're going to come into saddle. I'm going to give the deepest option first, so if that's available to you, you can just stay there and relax while I work through the other options, but don't panic if it's not available. There'll be other options too. So begin, if your knees are happy for you to sit in antler pose between your heels. This is quite a big internal rotation into the hip here, so if this is not happy for your knees, you're not going to take this option. If you are happy here, you can start to walk the arms back, maybe resting onto elbows. You'll start to feel the stretch up through the quads, a little bit down to the inside of the thigh, across the psoas, the tummy, and up into the throat. Also getting that stretch through the shin and front of the ankle as well. So if this, for some of you, will find that it's easy to come down onto your back, then go for it. You can come all the way down, hands can rest onto your tummy if you want to bring some awareness there, or your hips, or you can just rest the arms to the floor, or want to work into that lung area again, heart and lungs, and taking the arms up. If you feel like there's a bit of arch in the back, you want to be down here, you feel this is a nice sensation to the front of the body, but a little bit strong on the lower back, and then bring your blanket and or a little cushion or something to support, and that will make quite a big difference, having that little bit of support under the back. If you're feeling a little bit too much discomfort through the front of the ankle, again, just padding, doesn't have to be a blanket, might just be a bit of clothing. You can pad some cushioning under your ankles and your feet, so that not feeling, if you want to feel the sensation down to the front of the body but not being distracted with any discomfort there. Likewise, if that is too much for you down there, then you can stay here. Or if you have got a bolster, don't worry, if you've not got a bolster, maybe you've got some cushions, pillows and things that you can kind of build up to make your own bolster, and you can bring that behind you and lowering down onto the bolster. You can always raise your head end with a little extra folded blanket, or maybe that will just give a little bit of space so your neck isn't too extended. So this is an option. Or if you've got a yoga brick, you can bring a brick under one end, the head end, and that will give you a little bit more height as well. Or something you can use, like a big heavy book or something you can use as a brick. If none of those options are available to you, you can take the half saddle with one leg extended and one leg bent. And this you might find then is just a little bit more available. Might work a little bit more down inside the thigh, that's okay, moving towards the kidney, spleen areas. So this will still work. We can take half the time here. And switching halfway through for the other side. Now, if that is still uncomfortable for you, or if you feel a bit wonky, you have your blanket underneath you, so you can just, might be a little bit lopsided, so you can use your blanket to even yourself out. Or take a sort of mermaid position with the knees over to one side, and you'll still work a little bit more into that inside and natural edges rather than centre line, but we'll still be getting a lovely stretch through the stomach. So if you're doing half, switch to the other side so that you can balance out both sides. And if you're in your full saddle position, you can stay here for a little bit longer. If you need to adjust, like if you're right down on the floor and you feel like you want to stay but just want to ease off and add some props, or if you started here with props but you're thinking actually I could be a bit deeper, then maybe take some of those props away so that you can finish the last part of the pose a little bit deeper. We work into psoas in this pose, the muscle that runs diagonally across the hips. So this psoas muscle can hold a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. So when we start to stretch that out, sometimes some of that can surface. So just being mindful to use your breath to keep you calm. Again, when we get stressed, we sometimes then start to get digestive issues. It's like a little circle. Sometimes we have digestive issues, we're eating the wrong things, and then that causes us a bit of stress and anxiety. So each can be the cause, but each can also be the solution. So whichever option you chose, you're going to use your arms to gently bring yourself up to centre and tip to one side so you can release your feet. Hands supporting behind you as you window wipe the knees one way, head and shoulders the other. Taking a few gentle twists here. So again, massaging into the stomach. Spine, releasing the hips. Okay, to move into caterpillar. Legs extended in front. If you sort of sit back and you're sort of like this in your caterpillar, you might want to use a blanket, or if you've got a yoga block, something like that, then you can lift the back of the pelvis up just to help move you forward. So you don't have to have a straight leg. Again, any kind of hamstring issues, you might actually want to use a blanket underneath your knees just to stop them going completely straight, having a little bit of support there. And if there's any lower back issues as well, you might want to take this option. Legs can flop in or out, they can be together or a little bit wider, so it's up to you. As you come forward, you have a round back in our yin practice. You're still folding from the hips, you're not trying to crunch yourself down, but finding just that natural curve to your back, arms resting. I like to take the palms up to stop me from being tempted to force too deeply here. Belly resting
on or towards your thighs, and the head resting down towards the shins. So if you're a bit higher up, that's fine, you might just be here. If you're lower down and you might actually want to bring a blanket between your stomach and your thighs for a bit of support, or something for your head to rest onto that feels like your neck is sort of pulling a little bit the weight of your head. So again, lots of options there. So this is a really nice pose for slowing down. So it's in the name caterpillar, nice earthy creatures, and our earth practice is all about grounding, especially in late summer as we move from summer into autumn. Everything's slowing down. Nature takes a bit of pause as it prepares for those winter months. It's time for us to slow down. We're rushing around too much, not taking time to sit still and eat, sort of eating on the go. It's not good for our stress levels. So it's taking time to slow down, coming home to yourself. This introvert pose like caterpillar allows us that time and space. Allowing the weight of your body to take you deeper, not trying hard, just let yourself rest wherever your practice takes you. It might be different today to what it was like yesterday or the day before. It will be different again tomorrow. And just keep your mind's eye on your body, exploring what sensations you're receiving without any judgment. And slowly use your hands to help you, rolling up your spine. Nice and gentle. Come back up to seated. Just give your legs a little shake. So you can finish there, come into a corpse pose if you'd like to, or a seated meditation. If you've been practicing yin for a while, you might like to do the sequence again, hold the poses for a bit longer and take them up to that 6 minutes if this is something you're used to doing. Enjoy. Namaste.